Hi, it's Chris. So today I want to talk about some things that I found most surprising or memorable when I first came to Japan. And this is just my experience when I came to Japan, which was in 1997. So I'm sure that many people will have a different experience or will have different things that they remember very clearly when they first came here. But this is what I remembered most. So when I first came to Japan, I stayed at my friend's house in Hyogo, Japan. Now, my friend at the time was living with his family. Now, living with your family is quite common, even for adults in Japan, because I think many people don't move until they get married. And so if you're not married, there's no hurry or urgency to leave the house. So I got to stay at his family's house, which was his mother, father, younger brother, and him that lived in the house. And I stayed in his room. I put a futon. They put a futon on the floor for me. And so I could stay in the house. Now, the most memorable thing from my first days in Japan was number one, a heated toilet seat. So this was in February in Hyogo. So it was very, very cold. And many houses in Japan don't heat once you go to bed. So many houses don't use heat once you go to bed or heat the whole house. They don't have central heating. So in your room, you might have an air conditioner which has both cold and hot, okay? And you usually turn that off once it's time for bed. Because when you go to bed, you're sleeping under the covers, so you don't need the heat. Well, I needed to go to the restroom, and it was the middle of the night. So when I got out of my blanket, I'm like, whew, it's really cold. And then I opened the door, and the hallway was really, really cold. And I opened, to the bathroom and go into the bathroom. And normally, when I sit down on a toilet in the United States and it's really cold, if the house is not warm, then you sit down and you go, oh, whew, that was cold, right? You expect a little bit of a shock, a little bit of a wake up. But when I sat down on this toilet seat, it was warm. And I was like, wait a second, what is this? I had never sat on a heated toilet seat in my life that I remembered. So that was the first really memorable thing for me in Japan, was getting up and going to the restroom and having a toilet seat that was warm and not freezing cold. Another thing that really surprised me was this was, again, winter. And so the table was not high, it was down low. And when you ate at the kitchen table, you sat on the floor. And I had never seen a kitchen table that was this low. And I had never sat on the floor to eat lunch or dinner. So I learned later that in the winter, they have the low table so that you can sit on the floor. And underneath on the floor, they have what they call a hot carpet. And that will be heated so that when you're sitting under the table, your backside is warm, okay? And so you're lowered to the ground, so the heat from the carpet comes up and helps to keep you warm. In the spring and winter, they use a tall table and you sit in the normal chairs. Well, sitting on the floor is, I'm not small, so sitting on the floor is a little bit difficult for me. I was a little smaller then, so I could do it, but now sitting on the floor is a challenge for me. I don't do it very well, and it was a little bit uncomfortable for me even then. The last thing that I remembered really well was karaoke. And I will talk about karaoke in my next video, or the next time I talk about this. So again, I hope that this English conversation is useful for you. I hope that this English is something that you enjoy and is helping you to learn and understand English. And I think it's good to just sometimes listen to English and just pick up some of the words and maybe listen a second time and understand a little bit more. And I hope that, again, this is something that's fun for you and is helping you to learn and listen to English better. So everyone, I want to thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. And like I said, I will talk about my memorable experience doing karaoke. If anyone has been to another country or to Japan, what was something memorable for you when you first went there? I'd love to hear it in the comments. And I'd love to hear your stories or read your stories as well. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.